Welcome to Austin, man.
Cause we Austin, Texas, marching, stepping, hands on our weapons, cause boys be flexing. Daily in the game like a pin 'em off the chain. These boys are hard to tame, can't do nothing love it, man. Cause we Austin, Texas, marching, stepping, hands on our weapons, cause boys be flexing. Daily in the game like a pin 'em off the chain. These boys are hard to tame, can't do nothing love it, man. Well, I be crossing while in Austin and them boys gon' hate. Some boys be popping truck, but I be popping tailgates. The trophy truck, shit no book, I'm about to get loose.
This is Albert Redeaux, a.k.a. Mad Creole for the Austin Icon Podcast. Today's guest, man, is something I really was looking forward to. So my next guest is an Austin legend, an icon in Austin. He is responsible for building the infrastructure for Austin's urban music scene. He is one of the most important pieces to our puzzle. Please welcome Mr. Steve Savage. What's going on, man?
Good morning, Albert. How you doing, man? Thanks for having me this morning. Appreciate you.
Man, it's awesome. It's awesome. Man, I've been waiting on this one. This is one of the big interviews right here, man. I've been waiting on this one for a minute. Before we put the podcast up, I had to get you on here. That was a no-go without you.
And, you know, Albert, I've been turning everybody else down, but no, since you're doing the interview, I'm going to give everybody this opportunity now. So I had other people was calling me for interviews, and I wasn't ready for it, but now I'm ready.
Well, I'm glad. Yes. So this is easy, man. We're going to start from the beginning, man. Where are you from originally? Where you born and raised? And then we're going to figure out how you got here. We're going to start from the beginning.
I was born in a little small town. It's not even a town. It's a piece of land called Utility, Louisiana. That's where I was born at. But at the age of 6 months, I moved to California. And I was raised in California from the age of 6 months to the age of 14 years of age.
Oh, okay.
And then...
what part of California?
Paris, California, San Bernardino area, Riverside area.
Yeah.
I lived there for 14 years. Yeah, okay. I was there. I was there. I saw the movie Car Wash being filmed.
Oh,
so I was there. I watched
awesome.
the movie Car Wash being filmed.
Oh, that's awesome.
Then after that, you know, my grandfather passed away in Louisiana, so we moved back to Louisiana at the age of 14. I was there from 14 to 17. Then from there, I moved to Texas. I've been in Texas ever since.
Did you come straight to Austin, or did you move to a different city?
When I first moved to Texas, I moved to Houston. I was in Houston for about 6 months. In Houston, that was a little too rough for me. So then I came on to Austin, Texas. Austin was more of my speed.
Okay. Were you born into a musical family, or is there other DJs in your family? Or you just you all by yourself?
You know, ever since I was a kid, I always loved music. I always wanted to be into music. But I came from a very strict family. I came from a family, it was the Church of God in Christ family. So, you know, we had to go to church about 3 or 4 times a week, you know, 4, 5, 6 hours a day. So, and technically, I wasn't allowed to listen to what they call the blues music, the worldly music. But I snuck and did. It though. But also, you know, back then I had my own little, you know, you remember those Willie Bigos, those gray little trailers? I had my own little room. Yeah. I was outside, so I was always sneaking in and listening to music on 45s. So I came home one day, my mother, she had phone 45s and she threw them outside. But then once I got to high school, I started seeing this DJ. He was we were having the sock hops, right? And the DJ was out there, you know, playing music, and he had all the girls and everything. So I started hanging around the DJs and to learn what he was doing. So I started buying my 45s and stuff. And one day he said, "Steve, I need you to sit in for me." I sat in for him, and he never got his job back. Oh. And so
Well, now where was that at? Was that in Louisiana or was it California?
That was in Louisiana. It's a small town called Redeaux, Louisiana. That's where I went to school at. It's about 10 miles from the Mississippi River, from Natchez, Mississippi. So that's where I went to school at.
Got you. So that's where you started originally, just DJing for the first time.
Yeah, for the first time. And believe it or not, I was surprised my mother did this. I wrote a book. So I got a book telling about my life, because a lot of people don't know about my life. So I got a book on Amazon. It's called The Making of Steve Savage. It's only on Amazon. I haven't got you can get a hard copy of that. I don't have any copies on me, but you can order on Amazon called The Making of Steve Savage. I will send you the link after the interview. So as I was DJing at the sock hop, this guy who owned the club, His name was KC. You know, he came and picked up his daughter, and he heard me DJ. And he said, "Man, I need you to come DJ at my club." I was 17 at the time, so technically, I couldn't DJ at no club. So he brought me home and talked to my mom. He said, "Man, your son has a lot of talent." He said, "Hey, once you let him DJ at my club," he said, "I would pick him up every Thursday, and I would bring him home. I can guarantee you, he won't get no trouble. He won't drink."
Okay.
I would pay him $20 an hour. This was back in 1980, 82, 81.
Okay.
And I'm surprised my mother said yes. So she said $20 an hour. So you talking about back in 1981, 82,
Man,
I'm making
some good
$20 an
money.
hour. And my mother wasn't even making that. So, you know, for 4 hours I was making $80. And I did that for about a year. I saved up my money. Then next thing you know, I graduated from school at the age of 17 because my birthday is in June. So I graduated from school at 17, and I came on to Texas. So I've been DJing ever since.
So when you got to Texas, did you continue in Houston, or did you just trying to DJ there, or did you just come on to Austin?
I never did DJ in Houston. So what I did, I went to Job Corps. That's how I got to Austin. I went to Job Corps in St. Marcus for 18 months. And they had a student union at Job Corps. So I was a DJ at the student union. So I DJed there for 18 months.
Okay.
And after I got a Job Corps, I came to Austin, Texas. I started working for the Attorney General's office. And after working for the Attorney General's office, it was Senator Barrientos, his daughter. I worked with his daughter. She was having a party, and she invited me to a party. I said, her name was Angie Martinez. Angie Barrientos. I said, "Angie, who is your DJ?" She said, "I don't have one." I said, "I tell you what." I said, "Pick me up," and I DJed for free. At the time, I didn't have a vehicle. I said, "Pick me up." So she picked me up. I DJed her party for free. There was somebody from the radio station was there. His name is Larry Williams. Larry Williams got me into the radio at KAZI. So Larry Williams, he heard me. He said, "Man, Steve," he said, "Man, you're the best DJ I heard in a long time. Why don't you come to KAZI?" I said, "No, man, y'all sorry." That's what I said. He said, "Man," he said, "if we sorry, why don't you come up there to make us sound better?"
Okay.
And I didn't. For about 2 years, he just kept bugging me. So one day, it said, "Steve, I really need you." He said, "Man, I had some definite feelings. I really need you to come to the station and just cover for me." He said, "Why don't you come up and let me show you what you do?" So I went to the station. At the time, Quiet Show was on a Friday night. It was from 9 to midnight.
Right.
So I went up there. At the time, it was myself, Smokey Animal Can, and I think Coach Hills. It was a few other people. But I went up there. I learned how to do the board. I DJed. I didn't sit it there, and I just played music. He introduced me. I played music, and for 3 hours, man, we received about 200 phone calls and said, "Man, we never heard music like that, so and so, so and so." And I was stuck there ever since. I was there ever since. So, for about 10 years, I was on the radio for about 10 years. Then after that, after 10 years, the station manager position came available.
Right.
And at the time, as I was always DJing, I was making money. So what I was doing concerts and stuff. So I was buying the station equipment and stuff like that. So when the position came available, the DJ said, "Hey, since Steve is already buying his equipment, he's already taking care of the station, just as a volunteer, just imagine what he would do as a DJ, as a station manager." So I said, "You know what?" I said, "I do it for 3 months." So after 3 months, I started doing it. So we went from a negative $60,000 in a hole, and we actually started making money. So that's how I got at KCI and became a DJ.
How long did you were you a program director up at KZI?
I was only the program director probably for a couple of years, but I was the station manager for 20 years. I was a station manager from 1996 to 2020. So we're in 2019 because COVID happened, and we kind of took to 2019.
Yeah, see, for a lot of people, they don't really understand how Austin is kind of constructed, I guess, when it comes to music, especially urban music or like hip hop, R&B, soul, blues, gospel, all that kind of stuff. I always look at it real simple. KZI is the beginning, and KZI was the end, and that's just the way it is. I mean, it started the whole movement. Without it, I wouldn't be here. I remember KZI when I was little, little dude in Colony Park, and they would only play like one little bit of an hour of music, and it's back in the days, man. So I know one thing. Everybody that I know of, I don't care what genre, if you were doing any music in those genres that I just named, and then it would expand, of course, to other genres, we really owe you. I'm being real. We really owe you a debt of gratitude, because you really fought for all of us, and you really put that station on your back, and you kicked it in the high gear. Because a lot of people don't know that. They don't know that you really, man, you was working hard. The record pool, man,
Yes.
that record pool was crazy, man. Tell people about the record pool.
And thanks for bringing that up. Yes, I did put KAZI on the map, and I'm gonna tell you how the record pool got started. Once I started working at KAZI, at the time I wasn't the manager. I was just the DJ, and Gordon Hampton was the station manager at the time, and Marion Nickerson, he was the program director. So we went up to Dallas, Texas, to visit the regional record companies. And I walked in the door, I met a guy by the name of Danny Harris. And Danny Harris, he at the time, he was over Polaroid Records, in which they had Mint Condition, Low Key, and a few other people. So I walked in and got his information, and I started me a record pool. And so what a record pool is, at the time, Vinyl was back strong back then. Vinyl record was strong, so the record companies would send you the Vinyl records, and I would distribute the records to DJs at radio stations, at clubs, and mobile DJs. And those mobile DJs and other DJs, they would pay me a monthly fee for my service. I was charging them $50 a month, and I think I had about 85, 90 DJs at the time. So so what I was able to do, so it's like. I was making bank. I was making so much money doing that. I actually quit my job working for the state. I was working for the Attorney General's office. I worked for them for 7 years. So I was making probably about $100,000 a year doing the record pool. That's how I was able to have money to invest into the radio station. But people don't know, when I took over KAZI was a mono station. It was not in stereo.
Right.
So
that's right.
I used my funds, because at the time they were still using vinyl records. They were still using cartridge machines. They were still using reel to reel. So over the years, I kept on investing. I was doing concerts and stuff. I kept on investing in buying stuff the station needed. My own money. I still, over the years, I probably invested into KAZI probably $400,000 to $600,000 over the years. Easily.
Just building it
over
up.
the years. I got us from mono to stereo. We brought in modern equipment. We had a lot of changes during our time. But you mentioned earlier, it's the fight. It's like KAZI wasn't. They wasn't on the national scene. Right. So by me having a record pool, I had access to all the musicians, all the DJs. I had access to all the artists. People like Prince, Mary J. Blige, Mint Condition. I made these people who they were. So they, I had the information. So we started doing different Summerfest, different concerts and stuff, and that's how we got started. So we did Summerfest for a very long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember Summerfest. See, I was going to ask you. So, KAZI, for people that don't know and don't, they've never heard of it, or if they probably heard of it but just doesn't know, how it started or, how it worked out. KAZI is probably one of the most unique radio stations that I can fathom. So it's almost like a college radio in the beginning. That is correct.
And some people still consider it as college community. It's like a combination of college community, kind of meet commercial.
Right.
And I always call it. We call ourselves the radio college, because we train people at the time. We train people how to become DJs. You don't need no experience. You can come up to KAZI and get all the experience that you need. We can train you. Actually, the experience the stuff I learned at KAZI, I'm able to use it now at my own radio station. I have my own radio station now. It's called atxsoulradio.com, and I'm going into my 3rd year. I currently have 18,000 listeners, and believe me, the experience I had at KAZI, I was able to use it and bring it over to atxsoulradio.com.
Yeah, and if you know any DJs that come from Austin, I can pretty much tell you that almost 90% of them, they all started at KZI, and that's why a lot of people don't understand that, man. From Pat Love to Dinky D to
Correct.
White Brother to you name it. I mean Jay Hunt. It goes on and on and on. Jabari. I mean you just can go all through the gamut. Pepper,
DJ RJ, 007,
RJ,
Sherry,
man.
Jay. It's a multitude. Johnny Garrett. Plenty,
I mean, you're talking about generations
yes.
of DJs, man. I remember I was in high school. Pat Love and me, we all grew up in the same neighborhood. So he was trying to go to KZI to go learn how to be a DJ. I mean, he DJ'd, in the neighborhood, but he didn't know how to do it. So I remember him and a whole bunch of people from the Bluffs and all the neighborhoods over there. They ended up at the station, like you said, back when vinyl, and they would have to drive in the back of the station and take all their records and the crates, and we'd help them put them in there, and they would sit there and DJ for about an hour or so. Man, it was like a epic time, for us. It's like the beginning, just learning and understanding radio, and me watching the DJs, my friends. I kind of understood how hard it was, just to get on the radio and then learn, and then how to get your persona down and to kind of put your package together so you could get out there and push whatever you wanted to push to the world. The next thing I was going to talk to you about is, man, I used to see you all over the damn place. I mean, I'd be going somewhere. I'm at music seminars in Houston, or hell, I don't know where I'm at. I look up and there you are. I'm like, man, what you doing here? Tell me about that. I didn't even know, that you would be going around like that.
After how I got popular, so a lot of times people know me from KAZI. The people locally know me from KAZI, but
right.
I'm kind of worldwide. I'm known in the music business.
Yeah,
because
that's right.
what I did, when I had the record pool and I was doing my concert promotions, I made people stars. I made people stars like Kate Sweat, SWV, Mary J. Blige, Chris Cross, the artist Joe. I made all those people with my record pool, and I was always getting invited to conventions.
Right.
Desiree Coleman. It's so many people. So what I was doing, every time I heard about a convention, they had conventions like the Young Black Programs Coalition, the BRE. It was just so many conventions. So what I tried to do, I tried to go to every convention there was. Mm-hmm. Whether it was in Houston, Los Angeles, whether it was in Atlanta, whether it was in New Orleans, whether it was in Memphis, whether it was in Florida. So I went to every convention there was, and I paid out of pocket. And so what I was doing, I was networking, I was building up, I was meeting everybody I could meet. And I tell you the story. This is how the record pool got started. How the record pool really got started. You heard of Luther Campbell, right?
Yeah.
Luther Campbell. Luther Campbell got me into the record pool business. I went to New Orleans to the Young Black Programs Coalition, and I was at the bar, and I saw Luther Campbell at the bar. He was this guy named Roland Ellison. He passed away. He was the president at the time of RCA Records, the Black Music, RCA Records. So I walked up there, and they started laughing. They said, "Hey, young blood," I was real skinny. They said, "Hey, young blood, what's your name?" I said, "My name is Steve Savage." They said, "What you do?" I told them. They said, "Man, we like you." They just started laughing. They said, "We like you." They said, "What you doing?" I say, "I have I have a record pool." They said, "A record pool?" They said, "How much you make for a record pool?" I said, "Nothing." I said, I give the records away. They started laughing at me. They said, "You give them away?" They said, "You don't charge free?" They said, "Blood." They said, like this. They said, "We like you." They said, "We're going to put you on some game." They said, "We're going to put some in your pocket." They said, "What you doing?" They said, "You're doing a business, and you don't know what you're doing." They said, "We're going to help you." They said, "This is what you need to do." They say, you need to get the names of the DJs, get their name, get their real name, get their DJ name, get what club they at, what radio station they at, and how long they been a DJ. And for every tour or for every DJ that you have on there, that's a roster. You type it up and you send it to us. You fax it to us. You send it to us. For every DJ you have on the list, we will send you 2 pieces of vinyl. And they say what you need to start doing, you need to start charging them a monthly fee. You need to start charging them a monthly fee. I want to say this was in 1981, 81. Yeah.
Okay.
Back in the 80s. So for about a year, I was giving the music for free. So I called her one day. I told the DJ because it was Johnny Garrett, Pepper, DJ Please. They was all on my record pool. And I said, hey man, I got to start charging y'all. I said, I'm getting so much records, so and so. I started charging them $25. Then the more conventions I went to, the more music I was getting. I started getting CDs. I started getting everything. I started getting movies, CDs. I started getting everything. So I was getting so much music, I just couldn't do it part time. So I was working for the Attorney General's office. So I went up to the Attorney General's office. I said, hey, you know what? I need to take a leave of absence. And I see all the white folks. They've been taking leave of absence for all these years. They said, well, we can't promise your job will be here when you get back. But I saw the white folks did it. They took a leave of absence. They came back and they was able to do their job. So I see what I did. They was having a convention in Atlanta. It was the BRE. No, it was Jack the Rapper. It was called
Jack the Rapper. Yeah.
I went to Jack the Rapper. And when I went to Jack the Rapper, I met Prince. I met James Brown, Michael Jackson, and what's this? Guy, he did a gospel show. It was a gospel show. We used to have it on KAZI. I met all these cats. We was all in line. So I met everybody I needed to do. So I met all my contacts. I met all the contacts I needed. So what I did when I got back to Austin, Texas, on Sunday night, I went to the Attorney General's office. I moved all my stuff out the office. I went in the next day and told him I quit. This was in 1991. I quit the Attorney General's office in 1991. I quit. So since I had worked there 7 years, I got my I call it a settlement, but my retirement, whatever. So what I did, instead of me rolling my retirement over, I took my retirement out and I took that money and I paid all my bills. I paid my car off. I paid all my bills. For a year. I paid everything for a year. Then I just started making money. So my first 9 months of working for myself, I had doubled my salary and working for the Attorney General's office. So from 1991 to 2007, I ran the record pool. I was 100% self-employed, and I used that money to fund KAZI. Because we was always asking people for money from KAZI, but there was only a few people donating. People really wasn't donating. People want to hear their name on the radio, but they wasn't sending the money in. And where the money came from later on, we got a contract with the city of Austin in order to broadcast the city council.
I got you. So
that's how the city council. That's how the city council got. Once that got started, and that was in 2000. In 2000, we was able to convert from mono to stereo because they gave us $100,000 contract to get equipment.
Got you. Got you. So you had to politics.
Yeah. So I did a lot of stuff. I did a lot of stuff people don't know about. And usually when people ask me for an interview, you can't explain everything in the interview. So that's why I wrote the book, so people would know the real deal. So if y'all
they get more depth.
If y'all want to know the real deal, about my life and about KAZI and who I am, order my book. It's called The Making of Steve Savage. It's only on Amazon. I need to get some hard copies so I can.
It's on Amazon.
Yes.
You gotta get it, and I'm gonna put it in the link as soon as we get off here. I'm gonna put it in the link. But that man, see, because that brings me to, because we've done a lot of things. Me and you, we done schools. When I was active, I was actually before I retired a long time ago. We did schools. I know we did a Austin Urban Festival. We did one of those. We did we did some of those things. And I know you had a lot of different festivals and just all throughout the city. And the thing is, the station itself, for local talent and for people that are from Austin originally and that migrated here and started doing music, we really needed the station. The station is really what pushed us. A lot of people don't know that. I would go to California, and when I head to California and I'm on the road, and all I have to do is say your name, and it opened a door. And a lot of people don't realize that. I always say, well, you ever heard of Steve Savage and KZI? Oh, yeah, man, I know Steve. I mean, I'm in record labels and talking to attorneys and, and they just, I know Steve and da-da-da. And well, my music plays at KZI. Oh, okay, cool. Well, we'll play it up here. It's that simple. I could get indoors. I could get in businesses. I could get in anything I wanted just by saying I knew you.
That's why I say I'm known all over the world, man. And people don't realize that.
Man,
the stuff that
real.
Pepper does now. I got Pepper doing the business. What she's doing now, her music. I got Pepper doing that because I was the music director, program director, and when I took over the station manager, I turned everything over to Pepper, and she took it to a different level. But I've always and how this radio station got started, ATXO, during COVID. I lost my stepfather during COVID. I lost my aunt. They had passed away.
Sorry to hear about
and
that.
Also, we had lost the board of directors, Mr. David Burrell, who ran KAZI. He had died during that time during COVID. And when COVID happened, after my stepfather passed, my mother lives in Louisiana, so I was going to Louisiana every month. I was staying the last week of every. I would say the last week of the last month, of the month, with my mom, and I just kept doing that. And instead of it's like when COVID hit, before I left KAZI, well, go back to 2017. On 2017, I told them that I wanted to retire from KAZI. And at the time, they said, "Hey, they said, I want you to stay on for 3 years, so and so, so and so." And so during that time, in 2017, I hired a bookkeeper. To get the KAZI to get all the books and stuff together. I hired the bookkeeper to have them. Then we start getting grants and everything. Then after I took my leave of absence, I took a medical leave of absence for 3 months. And when I took my medical leave of absence for 3 months, it was like it's just something. It was just something. I didn't have any stress anymore.
Right. I know that.
It was just something. When people see me, they say, "Man," they say, "You look good." I say, "Man, I'm not stressed out." It's because it was just so much. Even though I was a station manager at the time, it was a lot of red tape because you have these committees, you have the board of directors, you have the program committee, you have all these meetings, and it was hard to get things done because everything had to be proof.
Right.
So once I didn't have to deal with that anymore. And of course, you got 105, volunteers, and nobody could be in agreement. It's just like when I left, it was just supposed to be for 3 months. It's just, I said, "Oh man," I said, "Man, this such is a great feeling, man." I was able to sleep, I was able to think. It's like okay. So I said, "You know what? I like this. I'm just gonna go ahead and I just never went back." And so people caught on. I went on there and I told people I resigned as station manager, but I didn't resign. I didn't resign from KAZI. I only resigned from being a station manager, but I was still a part of KAZI because I was on my medical leave. I took a leave before back in 2007 when my father died. I took a 4-month leave of absence during that time.
Right.
So I took my leave of absence. You know what? Man, I like this here. So I took on leave of absence. So different people in the community and our different sponsors, they say, "Savage." They say, "Man, we was dealing with KAZI only because of you." They said, "We hear you're not there anymore." They say, "Hey, man, we want to deal with you. We want to do business with you."
Right.
So they say, "Hey," so this guy named Al Watch, he's one of our he was one of KAZI's biggest sponsors. He puts on the State Fair Classic out of Dallas. He said, "Steve, this is what I want you to do." He said, "I want you to start an ad agency." He said, "You start an ad agency." He said, you still can keep all your clients you have at KAZI. You just run it. We run everything to the ad agency, and then you purchase the time from the ad agency." So I hired this lady. She's still at KAZI. I said, "Hey, you know what?" I said, "I want to start an ad agency." So I said, "So and so." I paid her. And I had another person, Savage. They say, man, you know what? They say, Savage, you are KAZI. They say, you have the knowledge. They say, once you start your own radio station, they say, we'll help you with it. They say, come by here and pick up this check. So I had like 5 people call me to come by and pick up check to start the own radio station. So at the time, you know, as I put on Facebook, I say, I'm looking for some land. I say, I'm looking for some land. And at the time, I sold my house. I sold my house in order to have the money to buy the land and get the radio station. But at the time, I didn't know the market was going to go up so high. Because when I was looking for land, an acre of land was starting at $100,000 to $200,000. You know, then every time I kind of go get some land, somebody else will purchase it. So I lived in a hotel for like 5 months. I said, okay, that's $2,500 a month I'm spending in a hotel. I said, you know what? I need to go ahead and start the station. So Bob Moore, he was one of our engineers at KAZI. He said, Steve, he said, I can have you on the radio back in 30 minutes. He said, we need to do internet. He said, I've been telling you for years to do internet.
Right.
And backtrack, I didn't get the name. So DJ RJ, who's still at KAZI, I went to his house and said, RJ, man, I need the name of a radio station. So we sat in his backyard for a couple hours. We came up with about 20 different names for a radio station. They was all taken. And then ATX Soul was developed, so we took that. And I came back home. In 30 minutes, Bob had me up. We paid $300. We had internet. We really started the internet station back in April of 2021. But we went live. We had about 200 people listening as the beta. So we went live full-fledged on June the 29th of 2021.
Got you. So ATX Soul was birthed, and then let's talk about the new station and how it's formulated and the music you play and the whole 9 yards. So what's going on with the new station?
You know, the new station, we're the station for the grown folks. And basically what I did, you know, the new manager at KAZI, when they came over, they took a lot of stuff away. You know, they took away, they changed the gospel, they took away all the talk shows, they took away a lot of the jazz. They changed everything. So what I did over at ATX Soul, I said everything that KAZI had taken away, I said I was going to fill in the gaps. Because the community was so custom of the sound that KAZI had, and a lot of the people who donated or whatever, they still wanted to hear that sound. So what I did over here, everything that was taken away, I brought it over here, and I say the difference is we are a commercial radio station, and we are a commercial radio station, and I say, you know what, we're gonna make it for the grown folks. We play some hip hop, you know, like Teddy Bears over here. I brought about 11 DJs from KAZI and talk show hosts. They followed me over here, like Nelson Linder from the NWCP. He's over here. He got a talk show. Cynthia Nunn's over here. It's just Miss Debbie who does the blues. So I have 11 people from KAZI. They follow me over here. So it's just like we've been going strong. It's just like within Big Rob's over here. He has a talk show like from when we first went online. I think the first week we had about 1,500 people listening the first week. Okay. By the time the month was over, we had about 13,000 people. We went from 13,000. Actually, boy, we went from 7,000 listeners. We went from 7,000 listeners to 13,000 listeners overnight.
Man, that's a lot of people.
Yes, and I think what happened, I kind of give it to Big Rob, because Big Rob, he has a talk show. If you know Big Rob, he has he's a Southern Soul blues artist. So he said, Savage, I want to be on your station. I said, okay. So he came on Thursday night from 6 to 8. He'll be on tonight. So when he came on board, all I know the next day, our listenership jumped from 13,000, from 7,000 to, it was actually from 7,000 to 11,000 overnight when Big Rob came aboard, and then it just started going up every day since. So we grew real fast. So now over the last 6 months, it's been steady. It's been like 17,000-18,000 listeners for the last 6-7 months. It's been slow.
Man, that's a lot of growth.
I would say this here, man. I took care of the social media and the website. I took care of the social media at KAZI, and it took us 7 years to get 11,000 listeners when I was at KAZI. It took us 7 years to get that. Over here, it took us a few months to get 11,000 listeners in a few months.
I remember when you first started automating KZI, and I remember you came. You said, "Hey man, I ain't even on the radio right now." And I said, "What you mean you ain't on the radio?" And he was like, "Hal has took over."
Yes.
I said, "Man, what are you talking about, man?" And you showed me. He's like, "Man, look how many listeners you have online." That was you know what? Now that I think about it, that was so far ahead of time. You was already getting KZI ready for the internet at that time. So this just made nothing but perfect sense to go do your own station.
You know something? I've always been into technology. I always want to be into technology. And what KAZI looks like now, they got all the new studios and everything. What people don't realize, they won't say, don't realize, I got that money before I left. Before I left KAZI, I got the funds for the remodel, all that stuff. I got the funds before I left KAZI.
Right. See, that's
I wasn't there when they put it in, but everything. I got the funds for it before I left.
And see, that's
so I have a lot of history. That's why I wrote the book, so people can, if they want to know the real deal, buy my book off Amazon, The Making of Steve Savage, so they can know really what's going on.
Because really, I mean, honestly, without you and keeping the boat rolling up there for so long, and even building the new station, people just don't get it. I mean, you really have to understand that we wouldn't have any DJs. I mean, our DJs would not be where they are. All of the wonderful DJs that have came through that station, that have went on and done their own stations and got their own stuff and are on the radio or whatever they're doing. I mean, you really put forth, it was like an army of DJs. They were, at one point in time, you had DJs. I remember Southpaw, God rest his soul, and Jay Hunt, they was out there at clubs. Y'all were doing live remotes, and I mean, it was crazy. Yeah, Dinky D, man, y'all had the van riding all over the city. I mean, it was crazy, man. To be a what you want to call a college radio station.
Correct.
You guys was kicking major stations butts, man. Y'all was whooping their butt.
And do you know where the term ATX came from?
Southpaw.
Southpaw and Jay Hunt came with the word ATX.
I was there when they did it. I actually was in the studio, and they both were getting ready to start their show, and they was like, "Yo, we the bad boys of the ATX." And I'm looking over, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, "What the hell is an ATX?" And then they just kept doing. They had an intro that they was doing ATX, and they did the ATX, and next thing I know, everybody now calls it the ATX, but they don't know where it came from originally. That came from Mr. Southpaw and Jay Hunt. They coined that phrase.
Yeah, and I wrote to them in my book because I wanted them to get credit for. That's in my book as well. Like I said, I just give the history of KAZI and myself, and how I got started. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people. I had just one person came up to me. He said, "Steve, John Bean, right?"
Okay, yeah.
He came to me. He said, "Steve," he said, "What you doing hiding?" He said, "You hiding over here." He said, "Man, I know who you are." He said, "Man," he said, "You known all over the country, all over the world." He said, "Everybody knows you, but he said, you sitting over at KZ, you just hiding." He said, "What you hiding for?" So yeah. I've been around a long time. I know a lot of people.
Man, you weren't hiding at all.
I can get my phone. I can call just about anybody in the country, even in the water today.
I know it. I've been on the phone with some people. I mean, you put me on the phone with a couple of people, and I was just sitting there talking to them on the phone, thinking, "How the hell? Like, how did this happen?" But I mean, like you said, it's you are quiet with the way you move.
Correct.
And a lot of people don't, you're not boisterous and me, I did it, and this is where I'm going, and da. You would just get up and do it, and that was awesome, because it kind of kept you from, I guess, people that know. Like I had Casanova on here. Me and DJ Casanova was talking, and we was talking about how a lot of people don't realize that when you leave Austin, because a lot of artists and some people here, business people, they've never really left. But when you go out into the industry, the real industry, I don't care where you go, Miami, wherever, it's a small fraternity. It starts to get real small. And when you start mentioning certain people's names, as soon as I say Austin, you're not going to hear what you would think. You're not going to hear somebody ask about an artist or something like that. They would ask me about you, and that's crazy. And some people, I would come back and they were like, "Man, who's the most powerful person in Austin?" I said, "Steve Savage." And they like, "What?" They're like, "The dude at KAZI, he's the most powerful person in Austin." And you think I'm kidding? He can make you or he can break you, and it's that simple. And I said, I'm not going to mince words with it. And if you don't believe me, you will find out. I said, just ask somebody. Go ask any industry person that you meet. Go ask anybody at any conference, anywhere else. Just say his name and see what happens. And they come back and tell me, "Man, I didn't know Steve was doing all that. Man, I didn't know." I know you didn't.
So, thanks for no matter what people hear. I know people hear rumors. No matter what you hear, y'all don't know the deal. So I wrote the book. If you don't know the real deal. Yeah, because you have to have a team. Can't no one person do anything. You have to have a team.
That's true. That's true.
You have to have a team, but also you have to have a leader. You have to have somebody holding the glue together. That's what I did, hold the glue together. And I knew so many people across the country, and I was able to, I had an 850 credit score, so I was able to get KAZI credit in order to keep certain things that are happening. So it's like I've done a lot of stuff over the years. It's like a lot of times, not to blow my own horn, because I wasn't blowing my own horns. I got people didn't know what's going on, but people inside of KAZI know what was going on at the time.
Right.
And people like yourself, they know what was going on.
Yeah, man, you out there doing the work. But see, that's the point, and that's why I did the podcast, because I wanted to bring in certain people that I felt like, maybe the city, or like you just said about Southpaw. I mean, people don't. They don't know that, and no one's ever said it except for the people that know it, like the DJs. Correct. and people like that. So you start putting that information out so people can actually see, because I wanted to get Austin's credit for what it is. I tell people this all the time. Without Austin, a lot of movements would not have been movements, and they didn't understand what I meant by that. They're like, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, first of all, from a producer level, on my end, artists, or you look at it that way, we have influenced and have helped a lot of other movements around the country, whether it's Houston, Dallas, wherever. I said, but now you take it to a different level. Now you put you in there. Now you get a whole perspective, because a lot of those artists had to come through Austin in order to get their music played.
Correct.
You know what I mean? They broke all their records here. They didn't break records in other places. They broke their records right here. And when they came here, you gave them the vehicle, and you gave them a lot of opportunities as far as shows and showcases and a lot of other things to build that talent and to get it up. And it's just, we never did it for ourselves as much as we should have as far as Austin is concerned. I think, we have all the big conferences and stuff now, but it kind of on our end, back then, it was almost like we were the go-between. They would just come here and utilize the resources and then move on. But it needs to be said that Austin is like really the vehicle. It really helped a lot of major artists, Houston artists, Dallas, you name it, and that's contributing from KAZI, from you, from, like you said, the team, from a lot of DJs here.
It's a major artist that KAZI broke. You heard of Vanilla Ice. You heard of Ron DMC. You heard of a Genuine. Who else? It's just so many people.
Right. Right. And then as far as the future, because now we got pretty much the middle and the beginning. So the future and where you are now, and what do you see happening? In the next maybe 5 years, and what do you think about the industry as far as like how radio is and and how it's going?
The new thing for radio and communications, podcasts and internet radio is the new thing. Terrestrial radio it's losing steam. I know that some major radio stations have filed for bankruptcy. Odyssey, they filed for bankruptcy. They like $2 billion in the hole. So internet radio is the future, and all I just want to get a office, and so people can come and visit and stuff, so on and so on. Currently, I run the station out of my place, and I have a lot of traffic over here. I want to get into a place, but because I started my station during COVID, so it was perfect. But now COVID is it ain't gonna never be over. But since COVID has relaxed, and I need to get into the future is just to do more. Because if you listen to our station, I have national artists. I interview somebody national every week on this station. Always somebody up and coming artists. I do the same thing. I do everything that I used to do over at KAZI. I just do it here. I'm able to do more because there's no red tape over here. I'm able to do more.
What's the difference? Yeah, is that the difference?
It's the difference. That's number. Since KAZI was a community station, it was a non-profit. So there's a lot of stuff we couldn't say. We couldn't give prices. It's just a lot of stuff we couldn't call the action competitor. We couldn't do any of that stuff. So the one thing I wanted to do is I didn't want to do a non-profit. I wanted to do a commercial station, so I wouldn't have any limitations. I think that's another reason why I think I'm successful over here, even though I had the clients already, but I don't have no limitation in the commercial. I can play any commercials that want to be played.
So you still breaking new artists over there? You still?
I break new artists all the time. One thing I do, even though we play a lot of older music over here, like I'm on live now. Like I have Lando's over the corner there. He's waiting for an interview. But I'm on live every day from 9 to 12 a.m. and then I come back and I do new music on Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. until 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday when we play new music and new artists.
Okay, bet. Well, man, I know I'm gonna let you get back to because you a hard-working man, and I know you busy all the time. So I want to make sure that I got with you, and that I was so happy to get this interview. It's only maybe about 10 people that I'm just like stoked. I gotta get it. I just gotta do it. In order for me to feel like it's worth the movement of what I'm trying to do. I needed to get you on here. It was like. If I didn't get you, I was really like, man, I really want to do it. So I'm happy that you came, man. I really needed it. So
I know Max, he called me, a couple of years ago for your interview. So Max, you get the next interview, okay, Max? I've been turning people down. I've always been in contact. I always like to work behind the scenes. I never tell nobody what I'm doing. Because if you tell somebody what you're doing, they try to stop you. So I think when I started the ATXORadio.com, I think people were surprised because they think I came from nowhere, but it was planned.
It was surprising, man.
Yeah.
Because you're retired. Like you said, I'm retired. I'm not doing it anymore. And everybody was like, "Oh, Steve's gone. Oh, he ain't doing it anymore." Da, da, da. And then I don't know. In the back of my head, I kept thinking, I know I retired. When I retired, I had the same thought process. I'm like, I just needed to take a break. And I needed to breathe for about maybe 9-10 years. but I wasn't done. I just didn't put things in front of people. And so when I saw you pop back up, I said, "Oh, that was just genius. That was just smart."
The community wouldn't let me retire. The reason why we're here today for community, like I said, we have 5 major sponsors. If you go to our website, you can see what our sponsors are. We have 5 major sponsors that say, "Steve, come by here. Let us give you a check." And I went into one person's office that said, "Steve, there's a lot of people, it's just like me. They want to give you money. All thing you have to do is just go talk to them."
That's good.
So I appreciate the interview.
Oh, you know what? My wife wanted to tell you hi. I told her I'll tell you hi. So, hey, other than that, man, I'm going to say peace to you, man. I appreciate you coming on again, man, and it's just awesome. And good luck with the radio station and the book. And I'm going to have all the links and everything for people to go there and check out his book and also to check out ATX Soul Radio. You got to go check it out, man.
ATXSoulRadio.com. Right. And I'm going to have you on the radio next week for an interview, okay?
Oh, you know it, man. Well, thank you.
When I be flousing while it out, and the boys gon' hate. Some boys be popping truck, but I be popping tailgate. The trophy truck, shit, no book.